The festival has come so far in the 35 years. I was actually speaking to a couple of students who are here for the first year, who are now dads, got children in the nursery, they're teachers here at the school, and I think as it's grown and developed, we've always managed to maintain the rugby as a reason why. So we've not detracted from the spectacle of schoolboy rugby, we've added to the spectacle of schoolboy rugby. And I think with everything, the way things are developing in sports society, with professionalism, we would have been naive to sort of maintain that coming together of some rugby teams over a weekend to just play some rugby, because these boys represent some of the best and greatest future talents. And actually, part of being at our festival now, with the press, with the live coverage, with the amount of referees that we have and the level of refereeing we have, with the expectation, is giving them a snapshot into what it's like to be a professional athlete.
Yeah, no, there's been plenty of hard work, plenty of prep, and what has really surprised me seeing the other side now as a member of staff is how much of the prep goes on behind the scenes. I thought the squad worked hard pre-festival, but it turns out there are actually a lot of other staff putting in a lot of hours to make the event what it is, which is really nice to see both sides. It's not only huge for the likes of St Joe's students and those in the Ipswich area. Schools far and wide just get just as passionate about this tournament as we do, and I think that's the most important thing. It's a real coming together, not just from the local, but the whole country really.
In August, we really start to work on the festival and make sure that we all have, we've booked the toilets in, we've booked the referees in, we've booked first aid, we've got all our concessions that we want to take part, and most of all that we've got the 15 teams, including St Joseph's College, that they're aware when the festival is, that they're on board, that they've booked their accommodation. So ultimately that's the most important thing, that the actual running of the tournament runs really smoothly, because without the teams, obviously there is no tournament. So all the extra bits like the food, like the beer tent, like the old boys game on the Friday night, they're brilliant, and that's what makes the weekend so amazing. But ultimately we have to focus on the actual running of the tournament and making sure that is as good as it can be.
And we've seen players, most recently Marcus Smith, who's gone on to represent the Lions, represent Quins, represent England. Every year there's a player like that you look at and you go, he's going to be the next big thing. And that's really the great part of festival, is the showcase of English rugby talent to every academy in the UK, to international coaches and scouts, to university scouts. And for me, that's one of the best bits.
The National Schools Rugby Festival offers, firstly internally within our community, I think it offers an ability to unify around a common objective, a common goal, a common theme. And I think that's really important when you're looking at companies, and in our case a school's ethos. You need certain pillars that underpin that, and so I think that helps unify us, and sort of we all go in the same direction for that 6-week period from September through to the October half term. Everybody is on the festival bus and we're moving forward together, and I think that's really important. Outside of the main event being rugby at the National Schools Festival, there are so many more people involved in all facets of life, and I think that's one of the key aspects of how Lucy and I have grown the festival from where it probably started originally.
And then on the Saturday morning I'll be here welcoming the teams, welcoming the referees, showing them to their changing rooms, welcoming all the concessions and the street food. And we also have some universities that join us, so I will welcome them and show them where to go. So yeah, I'm just here, I'm available. Obviously I've spoken to a lot of these people and emailed them, I've never met them, so I'll go and introduce myself.
So festival prep almost started in March, April time, as the year above started to progress out of the school and move on to their next challenges and finish up their studies. We all got together as normal 3 or 4 times a week to train, and then over the summer, once a week on our summer holidays we'd get together and train again. And then we came back beginning of September end of August, beginning of September for 2 weeks, and then that's when training really ramped up.
It's probably hard to sum up what the festival means to me, because wrapped up in that is what St Joseph's College means to me, and there's a reality that I wouldn't know about St Joseph's College if I hadn't played here as a student myself. And I remember leaving St Joseph's at the end of my first year because I was going off to teacher training, and I felt like I was leaving home. But the festival is why I knew St Joseph's College existed. The festival is a huge part of what St Joseph's College is, and like I said, it's the favourite weekend of my year. I'm a huge fan of Christmas, but it doesn't compete.
I think for me, it means so much because ultimately it's the reason I came. I remember I came to watch the 2019 one, and I was like, this is something I really, really want to be a part of, like seeing the crowd and the standard. So for me, it's like ultimately the reason I came here. So it definitely means a lot to me.
The festival assembly itself is probably one of the most powerful moments in the build-up to the festival, and I'll never forget a few years ago seeing Joshua Wathoki just tearing up as he was singing Jerusalem in chapel.
Yeah, one of the best things for me is when I see a student, especially if they've come to the school through the prep school, and they get all the way through and actually put that shirt on for the festival. That does give me a bit of a buzz, because I've seen them grow up from a child to a young man, and it's great to see them running around out there giving it their all for their school.
Oh, it's way more than rugby. It really sums up what the college is, which is way more than rugby. It's the ethos, it's the spirit of the place, it's the family, and that's what St Joe's is. That's what St Joe's Rugby Festival is, and it always has been. My favourite memory isn't kicking the ball out and winning the tournament, isn't a tackle, isn't a try. It was sitting in boarding with freezing cold after the winning presentation. I think had hypothermia, and I sat there with Lewis Ludlam, one of my best mates since we were 8 years old, and I think we ordered a pizza just before we went and started all the celebrations, just because we needed time to just acknowledge that we'd done it.
So I suppose because of our philosophy and the way we deliver our coaching, but also our playing philosophy, over the weekend our job differs really from being that of a coach. The coaching's happened by then. The coaching's happened in the 6 weeks that have led up to that moment. And at that point, it becomes about facilitating and providing what they need to ensure that they get their best performances out on the pitch.
Over the course of the weekend, I just want to be there predominantly for the lads, just keep them nice and calm, help them tactically pre-game, mid-game, post-game, and just also try and help them switch off as well. That's super important when you've got sort of little gaps between games. You can't be on all day, it just won't work. And then just provide little bits of help throughout the day, whether that's running on the tee, little message, anything I've spotted, anything the boys have spotted, just relaying that message, and just providing any sort of clarity and help where I can.
I'm sure it's already been said, but this isn't just a rugby festival, and it isn't just about 16 teams turning up and playing rugby anymore. It wasn't 20 years ago, it certainly isn't that now, and without everyone else coming together from the local community, from the school community and the broader rugby community, this weekend couldn't happen. So from this year's 25-man squad and from everyone else at St Joe's, we've got to say thank you.